Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's. This is the first of two videos I'm probably gonna do today. This is becoming a very serious situation here in the West Pacific. This is the first typhoon of the season, and its name is Surigae. And as you can see, it is located 9.4 north, 132.9 east. Maximum sustained winds is 90 knots, which I think it's like 105 miles per hour, somewhere around there. I'm going to go with 100. It's definitely 100. Minimal central pressure is 967, and it looks like that is falling dramatically throughout the day as it's looking like it's getting itself together, which I will show here momentarily. Um, air is the sea surface temperatures of where Surigae is. And as you can see, there's 29s and 30s galore where this system is at. So this system has plenty of warm water to feed off of at this current point in time. Um, I I wasn't able to find a wind shear map, but I don't think at this point in time shear is a factor because it's starting to get its act together right now. So that means shear is low, and all system is a go for this to become a monster. Imagine that the first system of the season, and it becomes a monster. So let's hope this stays east of the Philippines, but there are some suggestions that say that this might go into the Philippines, which we will take a look at that later. But yes, plenty of 29s and 30s for this system to feed from in this general vicinity. All right, we're gonna take a look at the GFS here. We're like normally I go farther out than 5 days, but I need to learn to not do that. So for this, we're gonna only go out 5 days. That's the typical time period in which it's the most reliable. I'm not saying it's totally reliable, but it's the most reliable. All right, as you can see, we got our systems right here, down here at the very bottom, 972 millibars. Actually, we can take a look at the wind shear here, and yeah, the shear is only 18 knots, so it's not good, but it's not bad at the same time. So we're gonna pay attention to this. We're gonna go out in 24-hour increments here, and we're gonna find out, just how big and how strong this thing really is, and might get in the future. So 18 knot shear. All right, let's go out. Let's move this up a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Okay, here we go. One, two, three. Yeah, that's 24 hours, and as you can see, it went from 972 to 951. So let's take a look at the wind shear now and see what's happening in here. Only 8 knots of shear, so yes, it's working with some very favorable conditions going forward. Um, that's why with it being 18 knots right now, it looks kind of messy, but it looks like it's trying to get itself together. We will look at that here in short order. All right, let's go another 24 out. 929. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but damn. Okay. Let's see the shear map here. There's 14 knots, so the knots are starting to creep up just a little bit. But 929 is impressive. And as you can see, that wind shear starts to get to it because now it's weakening a little bit in 941, which it's still a formidable, typhoon. Um, yeah, it's dealing with 6 knots of shear, so maybe some re-intensification later on, maybe 96 hours. Yes, some slight intensification a little bit later on. Let's see what the shear is looking like here. 11 knots is still favorable. And lastly, 120 hours out. So it's still a category, high end category 3 to a category 4 typhoon at this point in time. It's dealing with 8 knots of shear. And the GFS has it pretty damn close to the Philippines, so I would pay very close attention in the Philippines, especially, let's see, pretty much down the whole thing. So just pay attention, and if I will be on this for you guys every single day until the event is over. Um, just pay attention and please listen to your emergency management personnel if they say, "Hey, it's time to evacuate," because we don't want any deaths going on, and we don't want people being stupid. Not that I'm saying people are stupid over there, because they know their typhoons. They've definitely lived and just been through amazing, extraordinary, high end storms for years. So I feel like they can take care of themselves when it comes to this situation. All right, let's take a look at the European. Sadly, we cannot look at wind shear data here. So here is the initial forecast here, and it's a 982 right now. And this is 0C, so this is a little bit off. Let's look to see. Okay, yeah, the 12Z is not out yet, so we'll just have to use it. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Uh, all right, 24. As you can see, it makes a big leap. 41 millibars in 24 hours. That is some deep, rapid intensification. And it looks like it's making that. And then 924 here at 48 hours. So this thing is really cranking. The GFS and the European both agree that this is going to become a monster. So that's sadly how things are going to be working out here. You know, you hate to see it. This is the first system in the Northern Hemisphere of the year, and just to see it become a monster right off the bat, that makes you worry about other locations' hurricane seasons, like the Atlantic for this year. Um, which, by the way, I will have my first predictions out here in a few days. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, back to Surigae. 924. That is a Category 5, guys. That is a Category 5. Again, just like the GFS, the European has this getting pretty damn close to the Philippines, and you guys will feel effects from this system, whether you get a landfall or you're not going to get a landfall. Um, just be ready for it, because this anything can still happen 2 or 3 days out. It can crunch on going west and go right into the Philippines, or it can miss you barely and you still get the fringe effects of the system. So here's 4 days out, and here's 5 days out, and it looks like the European wants a direct landfall on the Philippines as a category high in category 2 to a starting category 3. So this is a serious situation, guys, and I want you guys to take this very, very seriously. For your sake, for your loved one's sake, and for just the people around you, go around and let people know that, hey, we got to pay attention to this, because as they say here in the Atlantic, at least, it only takes one to change the trajectory of your life forever. And we don't want to see that happening there in the Philippines. All right, here's a GEFS, and as you can see, it's right in here where you see the 974 millibars, and it's going to strengthen quite a bit. And as you can see, there's some blue lines here that's indicative of 940 or below. And then you got some numbers coming in here to the Philippines, while a lot of the numbers are curving it back out to sea. So we're just going to have to wait and find out, here in the next 2 to 3 days, the definitive answer to everybody's question: is this going to go into the Philippines? There's a good possibility that it might. At least that's considering what the European is showing us today. What about the GEPS? What is that showing? And It's showing this is a 993, which is very, very low for whatever reason they have it there. The GPS has Surigae as a weaker system that's gonna miss the Philippines altogether and just curve back out to sea. There are a few island chains here, like right here and down here below all this, but I don't think it's gonna get down below to these islands here. All right, here is the Joint Typhoon Weather Center. I think that's how you say it. And they have this becoming 120 knots. Okay, you know what? Let's check that. What's 120 knots? 120 knots, 2 miles per hour. That's 100. We're gonna round it up to 140 miles per hour, but this still has a chance of becoming a Category 5 typhoon. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Um, we're just gonna have to wait to see what happens with this and everything that goes along with it. And before I leave you with this, we're going to take a look at the radar here and just look at this. There is hot towers that are starting to wrap around the eye of this thing. So once that is completely done with, we can anticipate some rapid intensification. We've already seen a bout of rapid intensification. That's why it's a Category 2 right now. But as soon as that wraps all the way around that eye, this is all systems a go for this thing to really blow up. So we're gonna have to pay attention to this. Like I said, in the Philippines, you got to pay attention. Like I know you guys been through this, guys. You guys went through Goni last year. That was a monster, and this has the potential of being a monster. Probably maybe not a Goni, but this does have a potential to be a Category 5 if all things work with it. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and once again I will be back again this afternoon with the Atlantic outlook and discussion, going over sea surface temperatures and what has changed over last week to this week. Anyways, please be careful in the Philippines. Watch this, and I will be back again tomorrow with another update, or later on tonight, depending on the situation. All right, thank you, and have a nice day.